Hey guys, I just wanted to do a quick kind of reminder of the the assignment for the first research essay. I will bump the due date back since I've been down with the flu. But I kind of wanted to talk about what directions you can go in. And I think I mentioned in class that I really don't want you to just go for kind of that SIRS knowledge source type of thing where you just kind of type in, technology and students, and it will give you kind of a basic uh, uh, thesis idea. So, like, cell phones should not be allowed in class, or cell phones should be allowed in class. Yeah, that can be argued, but what I want you to do is to kind of take that next step and think about the bigger picture in some cases. And one thing that I did, and I always recommend that students do this. Obviously, I do want you to use EBSCOhost. You can use SIRS if you find some stuff that's on there. But if you're kind of just brainstorming, if it's that, I don't quite know what I want to write about, or I don't know that I have any ideas, a few different things that you can do. One is just go to good old Google. And in Google, just try different search terms. So, college student technology and education. I'm looking at articles like, does using tech in the classroom help college students? Some of these tie into those videos by Michael Wesch as well. But looking at here, more than half of college students prefer classes that are digital learning and have technology. And those types of issues are things that you can look into. I'm obviously having to kind of change the way that I teach because of the new technology that's coming into our classrooms. And I'm good with it. I like it. I like to use it. But I also know that there are other instructors who, don't necessarily have any interest in it, or don't want to, message students and things like that. So you can even look at it from that perspective of, are you getting a good education that's utilizing technology? And I think that could be a direction to go in as well. Excuse me. I also just put in college students and technology, and then Google kind of just added some stuff on there. So I went with dependence. So things like internet addiction, or emerging trends in psychology, a technology dependency. And that's kind of that bigger idea of, is this an issue that's really going to be coming into the consciousness of colleges and universities. And I also did college student social media, because we talked about that in. I had you guys read the article about the student athlete who ultimately committed suicide, not because of technology, but what she was showing the world on her social media was very different than what she was experiencing at university. Even though she had friends, she had teammates, she had teachers, she had coaches, um, and a loving family, it was still not something that she was dealing with. And on that outside looked great. Life is wonderful. But that was not reflective of what was really happening. And I think that's an interesting idea to think about in the sense of how we present ourselves. And since you are college students, and most of you are either here to get a degree and immediately go out into the workforce. Or maybe you're someone who you want to transfer to a university, get a bachelor's, a master's, a PhD. And the interesting question then is, how careful should I be on social media? Are there things that I don't want to do, or are there pictures that I maybe shouldn't post, dependent on where I want to get to? And I will use the example that now we're seeing a lot of people who are kind of my age or older, who are people are finding pictures of them with, racial overtones. And that obviously is something that has now tainted their career. I will add, as it should. But that wasn't even something that was on social media. That was something that was in a yearbook, but obviously someone found it. But think about, in terms of, as a student, what you're putting out on either social media, or even now that we have things like Canvas where you can just message, pretty much a text message to an instructor. How much do you think about that? And what are the concerns of college students as far as, what you put out there? And same thing, I kind of played around with some of the terminology. And when you do that, and you just kind of go around Google, see what you can find, and once you've got a good idea of the direction that you want to go in, that's when you can start looking in the EBSCOhost database, CIRS database. So the biggest thing is, think about looking for not just articles that give you statistics and facts, but also look for articles like the one from ESPN. It's an article that's making a point about how college students maybe mask their troubles with social media. But it's also a story about one person, and that's why I do think that article is very effective. Because if I just told you about students in general, and the rate of students committing suicide, or the rate of students using social media that's not representative of themselves, that's going to get boring. But that story about the young woman and what she was going through, and kind of how social media was a part of the bigger picture. If you've got those stories, that's what people respond to a lot more than just a list of facts or a list of statistics. So kind of play around with things. Think about what you are interested in. And if you haven't watched the Michael Wesch videos that are in the folder or the module, then please do that. They're really short, but especially the first one, I think, kind of deals with what students are experiencing that maybe not everyone is completely aware of. So I have rattled on for way too long. Bless your heart if you stayed with me this long. Did anybody do that? Okay, so here's what we'll do. If you made it to the end of this, then when I come back on Friday, and oh Lord, I hope I'm back on Friday. But when I come back, let's see, what can I do? How about if you got this far, then on Friday, ask me what my cats' names are. And I have three cats, so I just want to see if anybody made it to the end, to be really honest. So now I will stop yammering and let you guys kind of go, think, and decide what you want to do.